In a small Maine town, under the sky so clear, a man named Vinny fights, driven by the fear. The CPS is corrupt, breaking hearts in cold. He stands with the people, brave and bold. With the Constitution held high in his hand, he walks the streets a one-man band. No more kids for cash, no more silent cries. In Vinny's eyes, the truth never dies. We're fighting for justice, standing tall. Vinny's voice echoes, answering the call. Through our podcast, we light up the night, freeing our kids, bringing truth to light. Families torn apart in the dead of night. Vinny's on the front line, ready for the fight. He records the stories, each tear and word, amplifying voices, making sure they're heard. Families torn apart in the dead of night. Vinny's on the front line, ready for the fight. He records the stories, each tear and word, amplifying voices, making sure they're heard. Oh, we're fighting for justice, standing tall. Vinny's voice echoes, answering the call. Through our podcast, we light up the night, freeing our kids, bringing truth to light. Down the scenic roads, past the rustling
In the heart of our great nation, where the strength of our communities is built upon the foundation of strong and loving families, an urgent crisis is unfolding. Child Protective Services, CPS, an institution designed to safeguard our most vulnerable, has in many cases betrayed its noble mission. Too often, families are torn apart not by neglect or abuse, but by systemic failures and corruption. We can no longer stand idly by as these injustices continue. We are here to give a voice to those who have been isolated, to shine a light on the corruption, and to rally our fellow citizens in this critical fight for justice. Every day, countless families are caught in a web of bureaucracy and abuse of power, their lives disrupted and their bonds shattered. Children, who should be nurtured and protected, are instead placed in situations that can be just as, if not more, harmful than the circumstances from which they were taken. Parents, often bewildered and powerless, face insurmountable odds as they fight to reunite with their children. This is not the America we believe in. We cannot allow these injustices to persist. Our mission is to educate, to inform, and to inspire action. We promise to bring you daily updates on CPS, exposing the truth and fighting for reform. We must remember that the future of our nation depends on the strength and unity of our families. By standing together, we can hold CPS accountable and ensure that it fulfills its true purpose, protecting children and preserving families. This is a fight we must not and will not lose. We are committed to saving our families and securing a brighter future for all. The road ahead is challenging, but with your support, we can make a difference. Together, we will bring hope to those who have lost it and ensure that justice prevails. Let us unite with unwavering resolve and a sense of patriotic duty to safeguard the integrity of our families and the future of our nation. Our courts are contaminated with young, inexperienced caseworkers and polluted with bribes, high-priced bonuses for speedy adoption of terminated parents, and judges who don't practice law with the Constitution in their sights. This is a problem.
They take away the fathers, leaving just a mom and cubs. They know that with that out the way, the better things will go. Breaking apart the family, destroying the American way. Our legacy is built upon our families of yesterday. Fuck CPS, fuck what they doing. Fuck CPS, they need to be ruined. It's all about the division of family services. You hear that the division is what they about. They prey upon the family, the ones that the dad's been kicked out. We can't stand for this abomination. This is the song that needs to play across our once great nation, making us aware of the problem. Stealing our kids, it's not mama drama. Stand up for those who are lost to them. We need to fight for the family, making America great again. CPS comes along with the mission to protect. The only thing they are doing is cashing in those checks, paid for by the souls of the children, diagnosed by a caseworker who is still a baby herself. They take away the fathers, leaving just the mom and cubs. They know that with that out the way, the better things will go. Breaking apart the family, destroying the American way. Our legacy is built upon our families of yesterday. Fuck CPS, fuck what they doing. Fuck CPS, they need to be ruined. It's all about the division of family services. You hear that the division, that's what they about. They prey upon the family, the ones that the dad's been kicked out. We can't stand for this abomination. This is the song that needs to play across our once great nation, making us aware of the problem. Stealing our kids, it's not mama drama. Stand up for those who are lost to them. We need to fight for the family, making America great again.
Good evening, everybody. It is Saturday, and you know what time that means. That means it's CPS Discussions with Vinny. That's what time it is. So I want to get this out there to you guys. Again, just to iterate, we are doing a show on the 14th. We're going to be giving it out to Donald Trump himself. It's going to be a video. We're still working on some other things to do with that. We will keep you guys posted, but please make sure that you are reaching out to Darren under CPSV Hunting Justice at gmail.com and letting him know what you want Donald Trump to hear from you. We're also going to have the chat box open. So that way he can see what's going on in our chat as well. There is stipulations on how much time we're going to allow because we have to be able to send this off to him. So just keep that in mind, you guys. So I just wanted to talk on my file a little bit. I received my criminal case. They sent me this big, gigantic file, like that thick. And it's all repeats. It's all the same shit that they copied and copied and copied and copied. A waste of paper. Yeah, these people don't even know what waste is. Obviously, they're not following their own guidelines. They just want to waste paper. There we go, right there. Yep. Darren put it up for you guys. It's got all of us involved. that are going to be speaking: police, Mr. Herbert, Miss Tiffany, Darren, me, Mr. Trump, Brenda, Danielle, Kim, Gunner. We're all going to be a part of that. So just keep in mind, guys, we've been working on this for a while now. It's been in the making. We've been talking about it. And on the 14th, we are doing something about it on Valentine's Day. It is about time that we raise our voices and make them heard. Obviously, these people care more about, what's going on with all these overseas and everything else. I get that. But the most important thing is the family units are being violated by CPS and violated by these court systems and violated by GELs and assistant attorney generals who think that they are untouchable. Every single one of them think they are untouchable. But once they cross that threshold of entering your home without a warrant or without a court order, that's now null and void. They do not have immunity. They lost their immunity. And this is stipulated within the Constitution and within the Supreme Clause of the U.S. Supreme Court. Once they step into your realm and violate your home, that is a violation of due process, a violation of your constitutional rights and your parental rights. They cannot enter your home without a warrant or court order. They cannot. And they may say, "Oh, well, we can do this, we can do that." No, you cannot. Parents need to start standing up to their constitutional rights and stop backing down to these fucking people. Sorry for my language, but I'm angry at the fact that, they're trying to do things to me and make me out to be a big bad fucking monster, okay? When all I have tried to do is protect my family, bring up my kids the way I was brought up, under strict supervision, under, you need to follow the rules, you need to abide by what we set forth, you need to do your homework, you need to do your chores, you need to be responsible. But yet I'm crucified because of that, and they hang me out to the news channels and make me look like a big bad monster. And this woman out there saying, "Oh, well, we got to protect ourselves from this guy because he's a pedophile, or he's this, or he's that." Woman, I ain't what you say I am. And I'll tell you what, it's not my fault your daddy raped you and got away with it. That's not my problem. Why are you going to pass the buck on me because your daddy got away with raping you? Sorry, but no. I am not going to sit back and allow this injustice to happen. Why she coerced a 14-year-old and manipulated her under duress because she was doing marijuana and she was drinking with her daddy, and, well, the state allowed her to get away with it. They allowed this person that she was staying with to throw her out on the streets with nowhere to go, then make her sign a V9 contract stating that they're going to help her and she's nowhere to be found. There's something wrong with this fucking system. Very much so. This child is troubled in her head. She has hypersexuality. She has bipolar. She has depression. She has a thing that's wrong with her that if she was to lose consciousness to her mind at all, she would be paralyzed. I shit you not. This is on her medical record. And for them to be, scrutinizing her and, saying, "Oh, poor little girl, it's okay, it's okay." They don't know the facts. The facts were all three of these children were molested by their their grandfather up north. That is the facts, people. I'm not going to bullshit you. The record is there up north. They were molested by their grandfather. And the one was molested for many years, since the age of 8 up until she was almost 14. But they let him get away with doing this to our children. CPS did not get involved. All they said was keep the children away. So what I do, I moved my family all the way down from up north, 4 hours away, down to my parents' house to get them away from this child pedo. And now I'm crucified because of that? No. No fucking way. Uh-uh. I will not be their little fucking puppet. I'm sorry. I will not. And I hope the DA is listening. And I hope CPS is listening. And I hope the GAL is listening. And I hope the judge is listening. Because you're all bunches of shit and trash. And I will be coming for you in a lawsuit. Mark my words. That is not a threat. That is a promise. I am tired of these people shitting on me. I'm tired of being stuck to a house for nothing I did. I was working and they arrest me and assault me at my work for no goddamn reason. We live in a corrupt society, a corrupt government, where they think that we are their fucking puppets. We are not their puppets. We are not their slaves. And it's time we, the people, stand up and fight these motherfuckers back. No more being their bitch. No more cowering down to these people. It is time we make a stand as the people. We rule them, they don't rule us. And you people need to start realizing that. Your Constitution backs you. You have constitutional rights. You have constitutional rights that you don't even know about that you have. It's time to stand up and fight. Stop cowering down to these courts. Stop cowering down to these GALs, these CPS workers, these cops. A cop enters your home and you feel threatened, you have every right to get them the hell out of your house. They don't have a right to be there. Where's their probable cause? They always use that line, probable cause, probable cause. Where's your probable cause? I want to hear it. It's bullshit. Right, exactly. Nail art, exactly. They don't care about your constitutional rights. They don't. They lose their immunities. I know Darren's here with me too, so he's going to come out eventually. I know he was busy a little bit ago, so. But Darren's here with me. I'm surprised Herbert ain't here. He usually is with me as well.
Vinny,
But
we're here.
Hey, Darren.
Hey, Vinny. I was just letting you do your little monologue, man. That was crazy. That was good. That was very nice.
Yeah, man.
It's the truth. I mean, how much can you take? How much more can you take of these people pushing you around? I mean, they've accused you. So here's the thing. They've accused you of the most atrocious crime that you could possibly ever be accused of doing, right? Like you are the low of lows, the scum of the earth. And really, you would be if you really did that. But you didn't. And they know that you didn't. And now they run around and they fumble all this bullshit now they're trying to actually lie and prove that you are something that you're not. So, I mean, you've had enough, bro. You've just had enough. And how much?
Why?
I'm surprised that there's not more people out here screaming like this. Like, how much more can people take? I mean, I've been through it. I've been through the bullshit where they accusing you of all this stuff. They come and take your kids. They come and do all this stuff. I was there, dude. You know what? And it's a terrible, terrible feeling to know that you're not even safe when you walk out of your own home. Knowing
Nope.
that they have you under their microscope, they have you as a target. It's an awful, awful feeling, man. There's no worse feeling than that when coming out of your own home that you feel less safe than you did when you were in your home. You
And
know,
it's even
because of people that are supposed to be on your side.
yeah. And
You
it's
know,
even worse when you go out to the public and I know they're watching me. I know because I see cops going past us all the friggin' time when I'm out. They know
yeah.
my wife's car. They know what it looks like.
Mm-hmm.
And, I'm not hiding. I'm going to appointments. I have things I have to do. I have appointments for my back. I have appointments for my lungs. I have counseling, I have case management, um, and I have my regular doctor's appointments. And for them to be watching me so scrutinally and trying to make it out like they're not, I hate to tell them, uh, I'm watching too. I'm watching everything that's going on in Maine, and I'm just like, no, this corruption runs very deep for many years. And even one of my friend Patty that used to live in Lewiston, who lost her children many years ago to CPS, has stated the same thing. This went on back in the 90s when she lost her kids. This has gone on long enough in this state and everywhere else. And it stems from the government. I'm sorry to say, but it does.
No, it stems from us, man. It stems from us in the generation before us, meaning our parents, allowing the government to go under that whole, oh, we trust the government. We're the United States government. We're here to help you. Like that. Trust us. That saying. And they allowed us to let the police, our parents allowed the police, to pull us over to do these simple things that were scooping up our rights, as when no one realized it. They're like, oh, they're the police, they know best, or they're this person, they know best. And they're allowing them to do these things. And they've just slowly allowed them to take our rights away. And they didn't do it illegally. They did it with due process. They did it by elections. They did it by this. They just did it of their own stupidity in allowing this government to be more powerful and to trust them. That's what happened.
I mean, but if you go back to the generation days, they didn't have that problem. That back in the Gen X days, we did not have this problem. We could wander the streets till midnight.
Of course. You came home and the lights came on, man.
That's right. And we didn't have the problem that we have today. And, these millennials that think they know it all and that are adding to this, and, they're making it worse.
I agree with that.
Well, they have no
idea. Which really surprises me, because how did they get so far away from where they came from? Like, where did they, I know our kids and everything are all taught amongst the guidelines of hard work, and you get what you deserve, and so on and so forth. And we all of us have that the generation of our family members and everything, and then now everybody's gone, and that makes it tough. But that's the people that made this stuff go away to begin with, and you can't ask those questions because they do go away. But we need to come around now and take it back. We need to let this government know that they work for us. We need to remind them that you don't have to do it rudely, but we need to remind them that, we are the people, and the people is this government, not you. You're just a person hired by the state to enforce your own policies and procedures. So why don't you go look through the police department and find someone breaking your rules, because your jurisdiction is only in the town hall and the police department. That's it. Unless those police are called, they have zero jurisdiction anywhere except for those two places I just told you, the police station and the town hall. That's the only places that authorizes the cops to be cops. So just remember that. Just that little bit of knowledge right there is enough to help push things back just a little bit. They can't just randomly show up at you when you're in the park and start giving you bullshit or anything. Well, maybe if it's a public park, so take that away. But if you're out in the yard barbecuing or whatever, they can't just randomly stop. They got to have a reason. There's got to be a whatever. It's got to be a purpose. They can't just do it like you were just talking about. Get them out of there.
Well, it's just like the bail conditions, that you violate bail and they rearrest you. Okay, well, when you false arrest someone for violating bail that you said they violated, and you have the power of the clerk of court having more power than a judge to sign an affidavit to have you arrested, there's a problem. Why are these clerks being allowed to have you arrested when they're not a judge? They're a clerk of the court. They file paperwork. That is it.
Yes.
Absolutely, Debbie. I am out on the forefront every day looking at things, looking up things. Same with Darren. Same with Naylor. We're all in this. We're all trying to find a way to beat these idiots. and take back the power to the people.
Mm-hmm. That's
But
fact.
Debbie, I'm going to tell you, I see you post in a lot of groups, and you're always talking about TFI. TFI didn't do this. TFI didn't do that. Sweetheart, you need to stop relying on TFI. They are not for you or Christine, and they do not care about your grandson. I'm sorry, honey, but that's the truth.
No, they definitely don't care about who and what your family by any stretch. Absolutely not. I mean, they don't care how you're going to suffer, what penalties that you are going to face if they do that. But Herbert made a good point to me today, Vinny. He said, those cops, don't fight with the cops. They're just there doing their job. And I get that. But their job is also to stand up and be a barrier between good and evil. And like they can tell. I mean, that's what the sheriffs are supposed to be. The sheriffs are supposed to be a barrier between for good and evil. And then without that, these cops got to start using their mind, man, their heads. I mean, do they want to just be meatheads? I mean, they're supposed to be enforcers of the law or any of that stuff, but they also are supposed to protect and serve. So if they see tyranny coming around that corner, man, they should be helping us out, not fighting against us.
They don't even do that. When there was actually issues here involving the cops. Okay, for instance,
Mm-hmm.
me and my wife was brutally slapped across her face by my sister,
Yeah.
and assaulted, and we called the cops. Did they do anything? Nope, they did not. Not a fucking thing.
Is that
But yet
bad?
they granted the PFA against us, not them.
Wow.
But the whole purpose of the PFA was to get us out of the house so they could take over the bedrooms. That was the purpose of having that done.
But was that the right decision to make, or was that the decision? Was that the decision that you wanted to have?
No. And the fight started over something stupid because we were accused of stealing toilet paper. Like, I have my own toilet paper. I keep it in my goddamn room.
Right. But see, this is the thing. Like the repercussions of having the police come for a fight of the family like that could be devastating for future purposes,
Oh, absolutely. And it was because
the
we
second
were
that
stuck with
it's that paper, man, and they start
we were
writing
stuck with
down.
nowhere to go with a bunch of stuff in our car and our animals, and we were in the car, which seats
Mhm.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people, and that car was loaded. Nowhere to go. Luckily enough, my friend took us in. But then soon after, once she went up north, that's when all this started.
Mm-hmm.
But I was against her going up north. I was full on against it. I said no. My wife allowed it. She didn't come to me. She didn't talk to me. And that's where the problem lied. My wife did not listen to me. She did not follow through with anything that I insisted when it came to disciplining the children. And she knows. She'll tell you that she didn't listen to me. She'll admit it. She will admit straight out that she was in the wrong. And it took a lot of counseling to get my wife where she is. But they don't do that, Naylor. They don't do that. They don't follow the state and federal laws. They do not.
The sheriff is not responsible for law enforcement on a county level, Naylor. The sheriff's responsible for making sure that tyranny doesn't come beating on our back doors, man. That's the sheriff. The sheriff is the only legitimate law enforcement. They're the only legitimate law enforcement because they're voted in by the people for the people. Police officers aren't voted in. Sheriffs are voted in.
Hey, Tammy.
Sheriffs are supposed to make sure that the court proceedings are not filled and ruled by in tyranny and improper procedures. The sheriffs really play a big role in the freedom of us. I mean, the sheriffs are supposed to run a militia. The sheriffs are supposed to have an armed militia prepared to fight at any moment's notice. These are all jobs of the sheriff. And I don't know if any sheriffs know that. That's why Dana, the angry citizen, is always pressing on the constitutional sheriffs. The constitutional sheriffs is what we need in this country, not any of these political, these political gurus. And the sheriff serves a huge purpose to back us, the people. And I think once we need to start reaching out to them and having them be educated. I know Rick Martin and a couple others will say, bring them the dictionary there, the Anderson Sheriff's Manual. I have a copy of it. I could send it to you if you guys want. But that's supposed to be what they do and how they follow what the rules and the guidelines of what they do. No one knew that. Who holds a lot of power in your community? The number 3 person, the coroner. The coroner holds a ton of power. The coroner is the next one up in the list of corruption and everything. And so there's a whole structure that's built on these players that are out there that are supposed to be for us to prevent this stuff from happening that is happening right now. So guys, and if you think listen, it's just my knowledge and what I know. Look it up yourselves. Look up what the jobs and the permissions and so on of the sheriffs and what they are and what they're supposed to be doing. And you'll see for yourselves that the sheriffs have a very big role in protecting the freedoms of us in the United States. That's why there's such the press to use the sheriffs in these CPS cases. When I talk about the void ab initio and everything and where these letters go, once you get these things ruled on, you bring it to the sheriff, because by rights and by law, the sheriff is supposed to bring any sort of court documents to bring them forth into what's the word I'm looking for, to make sure that they go forward with, like if this court order says that Vinny gets a gas can back, well, the sheriffs need to make sure Vinny gets his gas can back, so the sheriffs are supposed to be there to provide that line of safety for you and to enforce those rulings. You want to get down, baby?
But we all know they don't.
Right. They don't do any of that stuff. Correct. You're absolutely right, man. You're absolutely right.
They all work.
Is that our job as the people to remind them and to tell them that this is what they are supposed to do? Because we don't do that. We fall short of that. I mean, we definitely deserve the right to do that to at least the sheriff's department. I don't know how the town works, and the police, and that's administration stuff for those police. But I know that the sheriffs it's a voted in position. So let's teach them what they need to know. We, the people, need to teach them. Bring them the Anderson Sheriff's Manual. That's a big thing that's brought up by a lot of these constitutional people. I actually have a copy. I can send you guys copies of the Anderson Sheriff's Manual. It's like 600 pages. And it has all the duties and testaments that a sheriff is supposed to do and handle and bring out. And they're not doing that right now, guys. So we need to bring that back. Like I said, that's the only legitimate law firm out. I mean, the only legitimate law enforcement out there. The rest is all brought on by the profit machine,
And they're getting away with killing people. You guys realize how many people have been shot in the state of Maine by police officers, and the AG has ruled it out as it was justified? Many.
I think we have that problem in every state and town here, and I won't ever say anything about that stuff, because you know what? They have a job to do, and it's got to be a pretty stressful job. I'm not saying that I agree with it and what they do, but what I'm saying is that, you don't know what these, they're going out against some bad people out there, and I'm sure it's pretty nerve-wracking. I'm sure it's pretty stressful at times, when you have a naked man running around the street with a machine gun shooting at you, and you're just trying to go home and eat supper and be with your kids and family. And, that's what you got to deal with. So, you can't blame them sometimes for maybe having a premature shoot off. But you never can tell, you never know when that's going to happen to you, Vinny. Naked man with an assault rifle could lead to premature shooting.
Well, I mean, if you're going out to the public and shooting someone or wielding a gun around, then you deserve to be locked up.
Yes, brandishing. That's the word. Yep.
You deserve to be locked up. I wholeheartedly agree with that.
Yeah. If you're brandishing any of your guns.
Should you be shot? Should you be shot? Only if you shoot first. Yep.
Well, I mean, until you're put in that position, Vinny, I'm sure it's a tough one to say. We'd love to all sit here and say, like, I'm badass Darren and I'm badass Vinny, and I will never, ever, I'll make sure I don't shoot at you. Kidding me, dude? Bullets start flying at me. I don't care if they're 10 miles away. I'm firing back. You know, I don't give a shit, man. I'm not going to get hit. I'm going to run and fire up in the sky. I don't care. You know?
Naylor's in Florida.
National Security. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I know that one, Naylor. I have that it's in my documents. I actually have that.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, even our jails are corrupt. And they're finding that out within the state of Maine, that there's quite a few jails in the state of Maine that are allowing the corruption, and they're allowing people in jail to be beat on, to be seriously injured by guards and inmates alike. They're allowing the behavior to happen.
Well, most of them are in Maine anyway. The sheriffs are the ones that run the prisons.
Cumberland County is ran by all Cumberland County sheriffs. Every single one of them. When they're not on duty as a cop, they are in the facility. Right down to their escorts to the courts. They're all cops.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's good that we have cops in the police station.
Well, I mean, it's good that we have them, yes, but the
answer me this: how come this? How come we? Why are all these cops getting black cars and blacking their cars out with the stickers and go black on black and all this stuff?
Yeah, what? Yeah,
I thought those are supposed to be. I thought these things are supposed to be like, so you can see the car. Every other country in the world has, you know, checkered camouflage and checkered this and bright orange, blue, and all these bright yellow colors and stuff. And you come to the United States, no wonder these people get shot and killed. They don't even know what they're up against, you know, when they come over here. You know, like a black on black car coming up on them, telling them to stand up, and they don't even know it's not a policeman because they're barely identifying themselves as that.
Or you get these state detectives that are riding around in unmarked cars that are gray with no symbols of anything on them, and they show up wherever they want. How do you know if they're not a civilian trying to break in your house? You don't.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm talking about, man.
It does happen. You guys see it firsthand on the video of when they showed up my work. That detective had a gray car. It was a gray SUV.
Yeah, that cracked me up in your video that they put the other one in the back. Oh, look who's here, huh? See who's in the back room of your show, Vinny?
Oh, Mr. Gunner. Oh.
Hold on, we got to give him his little. Let me just play it for a second. Let me give him a little bit. You mind?
No, go for it. I don't mind at all.
All right, let's see here. Let me see. Is it up here somewhere?
It should be up there.
There we go. All right, here we go. Oh, there he is.
Why are you muted, Gunner? Hey.
I'm gonna give some noise, baby. All right, there we go. Look who it is, everybody. The one and only, the G-Man.
Time to get our game on, baby.
Yeah, definitely. I agree.
Guys, they are shaking in their boots. I have now got up to 30 people, over 30 people using.
What was that number?
30.
Whoa. What was that number you just showed everybody?
30.
How did you get? Yeah.
Backwards and 30.
Yeah, it's the 57934. All right. So you got 30 people.
Over 30 people that have used, due to the fact there's been a Fourth Amendment violation in their CPS case that has changed jurisdiction to a federal court because of a Fourth Amendment violation of a CPS worker entering a home without a warrant, court order, or an emergency and questioning people on private property. And as soon as they file it, every judge throws their hands up because the person is educated, because they've lost jurisdiction. You got to know how to fight. When you have a constitutional matter, the state doesn't even have a chance to argue. All you have to do is notify the court and file your federal. Now, the court may take and answer the questions you do in your submission for your motion of the questions you may have and kick it back down to the lower court. But when it does that, it ties the hands of the lower court and they must follow that federal ruling. If they don't, you just call back up to that judge and then that's federal contempt. Game over.
So in other words,
I found out some pretty good slices of information for you yesterday too, Gunnar, by the way.
Awesome.
For you and Vinny both, actually. Yep, I got some real good information for you guys. The federal questions that they will try to stop and get you when they try to dismiss your cases when they bring you over to the federal line. There's a series of about 7 questions that they'll ask you or that they'll throw at you that most likely gets your case turned down into the federal courts. But there's a list of 7
under Rooker versus Feldman. Is one of the biggest leaders on that. It's Rooker versus Feldman, saying the states have the autonomy to deal with things and those particular things. So what you're doing in those things is you got to stick with filing it under subject matter and jurisdiction, because no state has the ability to make any decisions regarding constitutional rights and or those violations.
Yep, they gotta have subject jurisdiction matter, which they do not.
You got it. And when a judge addresses that,
since we're going to talk about this,
when the judge addresses that, that's a violation of their very oath of office. It's enough to remove a judge or magistrate like that. Now, there's something going on personally in my case. The one that overheard my case, supposedly the judge is no longer taking cases. The judge has disappeared.
Disappeared?
Nobody's talking. When that happens, listen, when we were in the courtroom, TBI, which is Tennessee Bureau of Investigation, which is the state version of FBI type thing, showed up during the middle of the case to serve her papers or something that was going on, because they stopped the case. TBI come in, she stopped, went back to the back, and then came back out. So here's the thing a lot of states are doing. When these judges and magistrates get in trouble, the state is supposed to be required to notify anybody that's had a case under that judge, because if that judge is ever removed for things like constitutional rights violations, it can overturn any previous cases they've ever heard. That's why they're not notifying people when they remove judges and magistrates when they break the law, because that means that would open them up to federal prosecution or, civil cases, as well as other probably adding to it.
I think where some of our problems lie is the actual bar, because the bar associates are denying complaints, even against constitutional right violations. They're denying them, like they did to me. The problem is the bar.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I'm saying. This is part of it. And there's the other thing. You go to try to find, even if you wanted to find. Now, understand we're doing sui juris pro se is what I'm filing under. But there's not a federal attorney out there that I've talked to a few, and a few of them out there downplay it so bad because they're all buddies with everybody in state court because they're hurting their friends and their judges. That's not the way this system was designed. Your judges and magistrates were supposed to be autonomous and only under law, and then everybody else was ringing. You're not supposed to sway one side or the other. It's biased. And there's the problem. You got too many people in the same courtroom. They live in the same county. So anything they take and do affects them personally. Is that not a, what do they call it? Conflict of interest? Your
checks and balances.
Well, why doesn't your judge or magistrate come from 2 counties over and they rotate them around the state?
Well, it kind of reminds me of the other day. My mom spoke to an attorney out of Portland who seemed like he was really interested in my case, and he told me to call him back. So I called him back, and I got no anything back from him. As soon as I said that my attorney used to be Stephen Shea, he never called back.
Well, if you made a boo-boo with one of the big head honcho squeezers of the law up there, Vinny, those might be one of the repercussions that you're going to have to take for when you're trying to get yourself a new lawyer. Be perfectly honest,
Well, I mean, I'm calling them out. I'm calling the DA out.
Leftovers.
I'm calling Stephen out, and
then
calling
if
Judge
someone
French
wants
out.
leftovers, and then some of the house with it.
I'm not afraid to call these people out. And that's why they tried to nail me with administrative whatever, because they know I'm right. I have a right to freedom of speech. I have a right to say what I want to say. And for them to try to block me is beyond the law.
Okay.
Right.
So, guys, I got something unique that I think I've shared with this, but to share with our listeners. You guys have seen a lot of things on TikTok where they've been doing First Amendment audits, such as I'm a reporter, I'm coming in to say the courthouse or anything else, and they've got things of no cameras or no cell phones in the courthouse, right? That there is a constitutional violation, and just like in my particular case, is they're using the sheriff to enforce it. But here's the issue. The sheriff is now complicit with those judges for violation of your constitutional rights of due process. Why? In my particular case, my evidence was on my cell phone, but because I couldn't take and bring it in the courtroom, evidence couldn't take and be entered. Now, the evidence I'm talking about is perjury of the CPS worker. So the judges are protecting CPS to not bring in homemade things. And here's the thing. Well, give it to your lawyer, right? Well, how do I know what's going to happen during questioning that he's going to commit perjury? How can I have my best defense when I can't bring everything I have into the courtroom when you have given an order, judges, every judge up there? Now, what does that mean? Every judge then has committed a constitutional violation at the courthouse. And yes, I'm saying on record, and I challenge you to not to dare you to do that, because I'm taking you to court on it. That you have now interfered with the due process of every single case that has entered that courtroom and every courtroom in that building, which means what? That judge now has multiple counts of constitutional rights violation of due process, interfering with evidence, tampering with evidence. And so does the sheriff's office, because they're complicit. You can't even get to the court clerk or the sheriff's office without going through that checkpoint with no cell phones, because they're not allowed in the building. And they posted a sign on it. Guess what?
Yeah,
Time to clear out a whole county courthouse, baby.
Yep.
Now what? So these guys pay attention that are doing these audits. This same thing can happen if you live in a county that these people have been doing constitutional audits, especially in the courthouses. Understand, those are judges that have told the officers, you can't let that happen. Whoever get that, you do a Freedom of Information Act request and have them provide the document from the judges to the sheriff's office saying, you need to make this policy. And then you can hold every single, you think the sheriff's going to be hung out to dry when he's been told to do what he's been done by the judges? He's going to pass the buck. I was instructed by a judge. And there's case law. If your boss or supervisor gave you, for example, commanded you as part of your job to do that, you actually get off the hook and your boss is held accountable. So it climbs the ladder. But that does not take and get you out of coming into a house for a Fourth Amendment violation, you caseworkers, and questioning people on private property. And any cop or sheriff's deputy that is aided and abetted in that has just committed a felony. And you know what? Instead of people like a lot of these groups, instead of not this group, you know why? We're taking this shit to court. And we're going to put it on the damn record, and we're going to hold them accountable, which is what we're supposed to do as we the people, to bring our public officials, elected and appointed public officials and actors, to accountability. Those courts are to protect us, the people, against the corporations and against the government. But as we know, in every state, that's not happening. They're violating their oath. So when we say speak up and get this stuff together and file properly and get it into the federal courts, why? Because things, Vinny, Darren, the states seem to have a problem with losing evidence and paperwork all of a sudden, don't they?
Yep.
Yeah.
Crazy, isn't it?
But yet they're still, even losing that evidence, you realize they're still getting that Title IV funding. And that's all wrapped in the same package, which still means it's fraud. They hate
I wonder how
connecting
that.
the dots, guys. And Chris, yeah, I seen your thing with there in the comments there, where he was talking about TBI being like the FBI, and yes, they only go after certain cases. You're absolutely correct, Chris. They're very familiar with doing those things. But like I said, when you've got your district attorney covering up things and this doing things and burying your stuff or failing to investigate or even a report because it's a state worker, shows you the depth of the corruption in our country. And it's time to hold them accountable in a court of law, because when that happens, funny how the feds automatically and everybody goes to work doing thing and, oh, look what we uncovered. You didn't uncover shit.
Well, I think it's funny that, you know, nothing against either side. I'm not going to say either side, you know, is bad. There are some really bad eggs in the Democratic Party. That is for sure. But it's funny to see the Democratic Party going against the Republican Party, because the Republican Party is calling them out for wasting our money on stupid shit that should not be funded.
Oh, no. Vinny, let me correct you there. They're not just calling them out. They're showing the evidence of what they're doing. Not just calling them out on a hearsay. They're going, look, here it is.
Look at some of these agencies like INSAT that just lost their actual company. They scraped the entire goddamn name off the building.
Yep. There's a lot of that getting ready to go on, guys. Guys, this is just the beginning of bringing us back to the Constitution. One is the using, and see, we've not been taught this in public education, is how to use the court systems to get your checks and balances in place. They can do this and that, but get it in the right courtroom, under the right things, under the right jurisdiction, and hold them accountable. Because there's a lot of states out there, as we've already proven to you, that are already printing the fact I have a right to come into your house and do whatever the hell I want. That's unconstitutional, but you printed it and you're practicing it, but they're slowly getting away. Well, this is going away, and this is going away, and this is going away. And now what do? Looks like somebody goes and gets a real job and digs a hole for a living. We need a lot of hole diggers. These roads all the time, they need maintenance. Let's put them on a street crew. The thing is these people are ready to get a big slap of reality here real soon with some of these filings, that they're going to play a game of fuck around and find out with a bunch of us that you did the worst thing you ever did. You came after, not us. You came and come after our families. You want to see a man rise up like you've never seen before, where the gloves come off? Fuck with a man's family.
Don't forget, guys, we have a special show for you after this show tonight. It is Connie Regal being interviewed by Tiff and Darren, which will follow this show. So make sure you guys stay tuned for that. Darren's going to be getting that out there to you guys. And you guys want to pay attention to what Connie has to say.
And guys, don't forget Vinny show, as well as all of our shows that are under the CPS Punisher podcast. Make sure you hit the like and follow and check out our shows so you can update and notifications when new shows and new information is coming out.
Yeah, but thanks for that. Nice little plug there.
Yeah, and also make sure you're checking out Darren's book, Stay Calm, CPS is Coming.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, that lady last night that you had on, she should have the copy of the book.
Yeah, yeah. She that her story. Holy shit.
Guys, let's put it this way. When it comes to CPS, when you think your case is bad, trust me, there's a bunch more cases worse than yours. That's how bad this is.
That's the fact.
And Darren, I'll be honest with you, I'm looking forward to what we're getting ready to put out and actually get filed on several things on mine.
Well, wait till you hear wait till you see what I've done. I got some stuff that I don't see. I don't talk. I don't kiss and tell. You know?
I understand. Oh, I'm looking forward to it because I know you back there cooking. I've been cooking. Vinny's been cooking. We've been throwing all this stuff together. And once we get this stuff done on paper, let alone when it's time to pull the big one, oh, baby, let me tell you something. The things that are going to be put in that are going to blow.
Bing, bang, bing. Yep. That's going to be a jambalaya for the ages right there, baby.
Well, see,
1-2 punch. CPS is done.
Here's the other thing, Gunner, is I have proof. They said, oh, we didn't violate his rights. Really? I have it in this paperwork that states that they denied my bail amendment to be able to see my children. Denied.
Now, let's talk about that.
That's excessive.
You said they didn't deny your constitutional rights. Let me tell you, people that are out there listening, you know where to get that hard evidence. And believe it or not, every judge looks at it, is in your state's fact report, because the CPS worker enters in the fact they've entered your home. Right there is evidence. Where's the warrant? Where's the court order? Where's the extenuating emergency? And if there's an emergency, where's the 911 call that's required nationally for them to do in the case of an emergency?
Now, what is it? The state fact report?
Yep.
Yeah, your state, like your fact, the CPS facts thing, their recording system. When you get a copy of that, they have to enter when they've entered your home, they've interviewed the children, they've done. They tell on themselves of the Fourth Amendment violation right in their own documentation. And the judge looks it over because they enter that, and every case is part of evidence. Judge, how did you not see it? You should know the law. You should know the Constitution. Matter of fact, part of your sworn duty is to uphold the Constitution and to rush to its aid. And when you don't, it's an act of treason. Prove me wrong, because the Constitution and federal case law says just that. So even if you've had a case and you get through, and even you had a lawyer say, hey, pull the facts report. Right there's where it shows his Fourth Amendment violation. Where's his court order or his warrant? Because under federal case law, he just committed a felony. Guess what applies then? Go ahead, Darren. Tell them what applies after you commit a felony. What doctrine?
Oh, you're going to go to jail and you lose your immunity and all that good stuff. You're going to jail, you lose your immunity.
Fruit from
you're going to go to
poisonous tree.
Poisonous tree. Oh, yeah. Well, you're going to get that. You're going to get that anyway.
Which means what?
I mean, without committing a felony or not. I mean, that's like the void ab initio, man. You're done. It's void ab initio, baby. You know what I mean? It's over.
But see, that means, well, let's break it down for our listeners if they don't know what that means, what fruit from a poisonous tree is. What does that mean, Darren, according to the law?
Well, it means anything that goes past that point in time is void from the start, void from the beginning. It's no longer any good.
So if my CPS caseworker did a Fourth Amendment violation and it was the first contact with the state,
it means void ab initio. It means anything past that point, it's no good. It's not, and it doesn't matter. Anything that affected you after the fact is now void as well. So if you got
Which means-
restraining orders, if you got any sort of trouble coming from it, if you got anything after that point,
Fraud
it's all
upon
gone.
the court. You should have never been in that courtroom other than one time. My constitutional rights were violated. Your Honor, you're supposed to review the evidence. It's your job to review all the evidence and weigh it against the Constitution. It's your job. But how did you miss that, judges and magistrates? Oh, and if you don't think it goes backwards and you start, oh, I'm listening to the show and I better start doing that to cover your ass. All they got to do is prove it once and you're done. And it's not hard to do. So when we talk about this evidence, that system that they're recording that on is run by the state and backed up by the federal government. So any tampering, any entry into it, any changes in it, there's a little IT guy back there that can tell what you've done, even if you went back and changed it on a closed case. You got a problem, because how are you going to produce a court order or a warrant? Because if you've been in court under discovery, those were mandatory to be turned over. And if they weren't turned over, now what? Where was it in discovery? Because now you're looking at a twofold problem. They produce one later. Well, why didn't you give it under discovery? That means you hid evidence. That's tampering with evidence charge. That's a charge on top of it. So you got them one way or the other. There's no way around it. Either it did exist. If so, why wasn't it given to the attorneys under discovery? Where's the discovery package?
All right, guys, we're at that time. And Darren's got to do that video of Connie and get that out.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, guys, don't forget to check out Gunning for CPS on Sunday night, 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Guys, we'll pick this up tomorrow. Guys, why don't you join me tomorrow night? Because tomorrow night is about case law. And, you know, every other week we do things on mental health, preparing to come home, what you're going through, because that's a very important aspect of this. Is you got to understand you are playing what's called a psyop, is what CPS is playing on you. And it really messes with you. And you're talking to three guys here. We've been through the ringer, but we ain't stupid and we ain't playing for their games. Why? Because we know our rights.
That's right. We will fight fire with fire, my friend.
Bam. I'm gonna start pulling hand grenades pins left and right over here with truth grenades.
Launch them good, baby.
Just watch out when I got a whole mouthful.
All right, guys.
You guys stay tuned for the Connie Reguli interview for me and Tiff. It's really good. You guys will really like it.
Looking forward to it, man.
It's very informative. It's good stuff. So make sure you guys check it out.
All right, guys, we are out of here. Thank you for joining us tonight. We'll see you back here tomorrow night at 9:30 for Gunner Show. Until then, have a great night. Stay safe. God bless you all.
All right, guys. Thank you very much.